Hey to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, ChiroThin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, Full Script, your online dispensary, Angela Pearson, author of I'm Not Contagious, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 178 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your co-host Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chuster.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Andrea Friese, and if you want to know how somebody went from law school to chiropractic college, stay tuned. All right, it's official, 178th episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today we have Dr. Andrea Friese coming in from California, and it's Santa Cruz area, and just asked her if she started surfing yet, and she said no, but she got a wetsuit.
I got a wetsuit. That's the first step, okay? It's what is it called? The first step of the program is awareness, that I need a wetsuit because the water is so freaking cold in Santa Cruz. I got a good one, a really thick one, so I should be fine. Hey Jim, hi Luke, nice seeing you today.
Nice to have you on.
Great to see you. Our partner in the Iron movement, Dr. Andrea is leader in our movement with Women of Iron.
Correct. You guys do Men of Iron, I do Women of Iron, by all means. And when did we meet, Jim and Luke? Last year, correct?
September.
Mm-hmm.
September of last year. That seems like at least 5-10 years ago, but it's been only almost a year, and life has changed a little bit, has it? For all of us.
In COVID times, a month is a year.
Pretty much, yeah. No, it's amazing. When we talked, and I know that I would be on today, you go back and think where we started knowing each other, right? And that's been September, the first time, and then we met again in January this year, right? When we did the training program instead of being the participant, and that's a totally different ballgame, right? And it's been amazing being part of it. And COVID slowed us all a little bit down, or just made us go back on a drawing table and come up with different ideas how we're going to run that program we are both affiliated with, right?
Yeah, I think that we had to all kind of reinvestigate like how we could, be functional within this era. And I think we're all learning a lot more about ourselves, and we're all coming to terms with we have to do things just a little bit new, and we have to come to it with new energy and new power. Yeah.
And that's what we're going to teach anyway to the people who would like to join us, right? You got to do something different, because what got you here is not getting you there, right? We cannot do the same old stuff. And sometimes we all need a little push, like a virus, right? And we have to be creative, and we have to change course, and, just do what we have to do. As long as we stay true to our values and our mission and what we want to achieve, just a couple walks in the road. That's it anyway, at least for me.
Tell us a little bit about your chiropractic journey and what influenced you to become a doctor in the first place.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that too. So I'm also a chiropractor. As you probably hear, or your listeners will hear, and probably not getting used to it, I have that really small accent, and that's coming from Germany because I grew up over there. I came over to the States in 2000, 20 years ago. It's a crazy story when I look back. It seems crazy, but then it seems very organic and natural, because I came over for a vacation. I just finished law school, and I had 2 months of doing nothing. And I came to California, and I hung around, and I started running for some really weird reason, because probably everyone I saw in California was running or biking or doing yoga. And I wasn't ready for yoga, so I started running and I injured myself. And someone said, "Hey, you should see a chiropractor." And I had no idea what a chiropractor was, or I couldn't even pronounce it. So, but I went because I needed to get an x-ray. I couldn't step on my ankle and I thought it was broken. So I saw someone and she, of course, took an x-ray of my ankle and it was not broken. And then she started adjusting me. She adjusted my neck and, the rest of the spine. And I had, it affected me that I decided to become a chiropractor. It actually took me 2 weeks to make that transition from, I'm going to go back to Germany to be the lawyer, to, no, I'm going to go back to school for 5 more years. And this time around, I'm actually going to pay for it because, as you guys know, education is for free in Germany. So, yeah, I hung around that office for 2 weeks, and I saw people coming in and out, and they had some weird stories like, "Oh, yeah, I'm not taking my thyroid medication anymore. Oh, yeah, I feel better. Oh, I got pregnant now, and nobody thought I will ever get pregnant. Or now I'm going to give birth, and I'm seeing a chiropractor." And it was mind-boggling. I couldn't put one and one together, and I'm like, that's crazy stuff. I know I'm in California, and pretty much everything is crazy, but that is really crazy. But, sometimes you just know you want to do what you want to do, and it doesn't make sense. So I went back to Germany, and I had to explain to my family that I have to go back. I have to go back to school, get all my prerequisites. I really didn't speak English at that point. And I had to get a visa, and I had to get some money because this time around it actually cost money. And here I am, 20 years later. I went to Life Chiropractic College, best college in the States, in my humble opinion. I got a great education, met incredible people, and I opened my practice in 2004.
What school did you go to?
Life Chiropractic College.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what are some things that maybe you do in your office that would set you apart or make you different from other chiropractors?
I'm not so sure whether I'm different than other chiropractors. I think most of us went into that profession because we have that drive of helping people and showing them a different kind of lifestyle. And we are all a little bit rebels in our hearts, right? When we like to swim against the stream. What I pride myself in my office that it's always been fun. There are people coming in and out. I explain to them what I see, what's going on with them. I take x-rays. We look over the x-rays. We come up with a plan. I'm what we call a correction chiropractor. So I'm not really so worried about, your headaches and your low back, which will take care of itself. But I'm more worried about the structure of your spine, your curves, your degeneration, and I present the information, and then I let the patient make their own decision. And it's pretty powerful.
Well, I'm sure you've heard of this trend. It might not be so popular in what we believe in, but what do you think about this trend where they want to remove x-ray out of the chiropractic profession?
That's crazy. Because I would not know how to do my job. Really, I would not know how to do my job. I'm stumbling that people even think that's a good idea because you can take so many different examples of, well, are we taking the x-rays away from a dentist? Are we taking diagnosis tool away from other people? Are we just open up the hood of our car and look inside and just guessing what's wrong and not having diagnostic tool? I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. I'm going to keep taking x-rays. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important And as I get to understand, what you do as a curve correction chiropractor, it's essential.
Yeah.
And people want to talk about this word essential. Well, X-rays are essential to chiropractic, and I think that just because of your stance of being a curve correction DC, that it's important for us to just bring that up because that is a diagnostic tool that you have, and that you can see if there's any type of contraindication of adjusting or any type of fusion or abnormalities on an X-ray that are congenital that come from birth or anything. You can rule out anything. And I think that even having it in the conversation of removal is just, it's against the grain of chiropractic. And I think that as we move forward as a profession, we're going to ask you some questions also about where you see the profession going. But before we get into that, do you have any mantras or quotes or words of affirmation that help keep you motivated and determined as a chiropractor?
Good question, Jim. Have you guys read that book, which I really like, The Big Leap by, what's his name, Guy Hendricks? Write it down. Look, it's a really good book. And it's talking about everyone has their upper limits, and it's mostly a fear and self-sabotaging because we talk to ourselves constantly, and when we put that limitation, the beliefs, and repeating them constantly, whether it's subconscious or even when we think about it, we buying into our own limitation. And there's one quote in that book which really got to me, and whenever I get nervous or a little bit fearful, I repeat that quote, and it's fear is excitement without the breath. So we can hold our breath and be all, fearful, or we just going to breathe through it and just make it to the other side. And that's what it is, the unknown and making that step and, moving forward. So yeah, fear is excitement without the breath. Breathing in and out. Yeah. So that's what I tell myself a lot, especially in COVID.
Something I've been curious about is what motivated you to join Women of Iron?
I don't think anyone who comes to Women of Iron or Men of Iron comes in and says, you know what, I have it all figured out. I feel so great about myself, and I just need something to keep myself occupied, right? We all have a reason why we're joining that, let's call it movement, right? And for me, there was a lot of stagnation going on, business and also personal-wise, and I realized it, and I looked for something I could push myself, and it was just intriguing. As you guys know, with Dr. Ed Osborne, he does Facebooks and Facebook Lives, and he was talking a lot about Men of Iron, and he sees a video, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. It resonates with me, but it's mostly for you guys, right? Men of Iron. And then I think last year, maybe in August, he put out, oh yeah, I'm going to do Women of Iron. And, before he finished his sentence, I'm like, okay, take my call. So yeah, I was one of the first group of 4 women who did Women of Iron up in British Columbia with you guys at the same time, right? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Same day.
He had you at hello.
Pretty much, yeah. And as you guys know, it's kind of life-changing, and it's really difficult to explain because it's kind of unexplainable, but we all try to do a good job as you do it, Jim, and as I do it. But in order to see what it's all about, there's a lot of leap of faith, right? If somebody sees you, Jim, and says, "Oh, look at this guy. I think I can trust him. He's talking genuine, and I think he's a good person." Then people will connect with you and may follow you. Hopefully, the same as me.
How do you think it would impact chiropractors if more doctors went through the Men or Women of Iron program?
I think it doesn't really, it would be great if there are more chiropractors who do it, not because of chiropractic, just because we are all human beings. So if you're a chiropractor, a dentist, or a landscaping artist, or you bake bread, everyone should do it, because we all want to go from point A to point B in our lives if we are ambitious enough, right? Nobody wants to stay where we are, in my humble opinion. So would I like to see more chiropractors being part of the group? Yeah, but hairdressers would be good too, or people who fix my car.
Yeah, I honestly think that the people that join just become more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to tap into different parts of your person, and you have to become vulnerable. And I think that that's when people sometimes go to old age. They never know themselves, and they never become vulnerable with themselves and other people, and they never have accountability. So they grow up into these elder humans that are still dealing with these juvenile traits. And I think that what it does is really helps you become accountable and grow up quicker and find out what your deficiencies are to where you can turn those into strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. But in order to get to that point, you have to create that really safe and, as you said, vulnerable place. Because if you want to go from being stoic and I get it all handled to realize I just don't have my shit together, that from getting from that point to the next, you gotta trust the people around you, and you have to make sure that information, it's almost like sacred, right? And women of iron and men of iron, I think we do that because there's a lot of preparation for it, and a lot of talking and meeting the people where they at, and there's a lot of background information, as you guys know now, as on the other side, on the training aspect. It looks very easy, but it isn't, right?
Well, it elevates people's perception of themselves, and it touches your abilities to do certain things, and it tightens your relationships with people. It tightens your relationship with yourself. It pushes you to different levels of achievement, whether that's in your family or in physical activity or knowing yourself more or in your business. I think that there's so many different aspects of when we go through the forge and how we develop and we learn how to do the core four and the stack and the revelations and the accountability. It just turns us into a different version of ourselves that we've all been wanting. We just didn't know how to find.
Yeah, and I remember when I went to Canada in September, the first day, I'm like, that's kind of a little bit horse poop right here. I'm just going to fly back home. I'm German, which doesn't really mean anything, but we have that stereotype of, being not very open and keeping ourselves together, and we don't really like to be emotional. And then you go into that environment where you see people, opening up, and it's pretty uncomfortable in the beginning, and then you realize, we're all in the same boat. Everyone kind of is going through the same stuff, different kind of levels, of course, but the bottom line is we all human beings. We all need support. We all need love, and we all want to love people, right? And we all crave that connection, that brotherhood for you guys, or that sisterhood on my side. And that's a beautiful thing.
So where do you think the chiropractic profession is going to find itself in 20 years?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I have plans. I'm focusing what I can control. I have a pretty set philosophy about what I do, and I try to fight for it and against a lot of things in life. And we can lose focus, especially nowadays. There's so much so much distraction and so many ways we can start arguing with people and lose the track we're on. So I try to stay on my line and my lane and do the best I can. I'm hopeful is that chiropractic becomes, I don't know, more mainstream when someone thinks about, well, you know what, my digestive system is not feeling good. Instead of thinking of going to Walgreens to get an over-the-counter medication, hopefully it will be, you know what, I have not been to my chiropractor lately. Let me make an appointment. Yeah, that's, I hope that's where chiropractic is going to be in the future, but do I know whether it's going to be? I don't know. I just can do my part for it, and I do, and as good as I can. Yeah, there are days where I'm doing it better than others, where I educate people more, or sometimes I don't. So we just strive to be better every single day.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Imaging Services, Chirothin, Chiro Moguls, Mahalo Wellness, Local Gold, Chiro Health USA, The Goodman Factor, Chiropractic Rocks, Winner's Edge, Accident Records, Chiro Tax Pro, Full Script, your online dispensary, Angela Pearson, author of I'm Not Contagious, and Digital Hustle. Let's hustle.
So let me ask you, on top of that, you said that you have some belief systems.
Uh-huh.
Who are some of your mentors or chiropractic heroes that helped, mold you into thinking the way that you do?
Mm-hmm. Well, when you go to a school like Life West Chiropractic College, they have phenomenal people teaching us, like Dr. Murphy, a lot of neurologist people. I found colleagues of mine who motivate me, right? We talk. When it comes to the business aspect, I have a really good coach. His name is Dr. John Baker. And we talk and we figuring it out, and we support each other. He supports me more than anything. I talked to Dr. Ryan Doyle, Dr. Ed Osborne from the Men of Iron family. So there are a lot of people, but mostly are friends and colleagues of mine, because when you go to chiropractic college, you become really tight. Not with a lot of people, but with the one you're really forming the bond, you help each other. So yeah, they're my inspiration, and hopefully I can be a little bit of an inspiration for them.
Yeah, as we say, iron sharpens iron.
Yep, I hear you.
So since you became a chiropractor and started running your own clinic, have you seen any miracle stories happen in your office? Yeah. Because here's a question: what do we define as miracles? A miracle is not someone who gets on a table blind and gets adjustment and now he can see, right? That's what a lot of people think when we talk about miracles. I put on my wall in my waiting room and said, I expect miracles, because that's what we should expect. Is it a miracle that some parents bring in their newborn and I adjust them and they're now sleep better? I think that's a freaking miracle. If somebody comes in and tells me they have been on blood pressure medication for years and they have been on 5 or 6 different ones, and now she's only on 2, I think that's a miracle. What I do in my clinic, as I told you guys, I strive for correction and slowing down the degeneration process. I take x-rays before and I take x-rays after, because I can talk until foam comes out of my mouth. I have to show people, because people want to be educated. People are smart, and I have to show them what I have done. And yeah, so when I put that new x-ray up, I'm expecting to either see changes or a slowdown of the progression of the condition which we call spinal decay. And is that a miracle? Heck yeah.
Well, it's quite interesting that you say that, because 11 years ago, I got into the chiropractic profession, and I was
Mm-hmm.
working in a chiropractic biophysics office,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing traction setups.
Okay.
But not only that, I was also the guy that they sent out to do chiropractic screening events and different
Mm-hmm.
marketing events. And I remember specifically, I was out there with one of the lead doc's cousins, and she was out there helping me do an event. And I told her that we can help babies to this family. And she like scolded me. She's like, "Don't tell people that we adjust babies. That's crazy." And I'm like, I I know that we adjust babies. I've seen Dr. Mike adjust babies and it helps them. And she's
Yeah.
like, well, you can't tell people that you adjust babies because that scares people. And I still think that we have to unwind some of this perception of how people think about what chiropractic really does. And I love the fact that you're sharing that it helps. It's not such a miracle other than the fact it makes a baby sleep better. And it's not such a miracle, but it helps people get off the medications. So I think that miracle is just being able to trust the method of chiropractic service and to get adjusted, because a lot of people still don't understand why they would go if there's no pain. So we have a lot of work to do still when it comes to the chiropractic miracle of education.
Oh, totally. And that whole chiropractic thing, it's pretty simple, and we make it very complicated. And we make it complicated not because we want to show the patient and the community what we know. It's maybe we make it more complicated because we're trying to prove ourselves how good it is. When we already know it's working. Everyone should get adjusted, no matter how old they are. Everyone should get adjusted whether they have symptoms or not. It's whether they are bald or have long hair. It shouldn't matter. Everyone should get on the table, get checked. If they need an adjustment, they're going to need an adjustment. If they don't need an adjustment, they don't get an adjustment. It's simple, and we make it complicated because of our own egos. That's what I totally believe in. So when somebody says, "Oh, don't tell kids to get adjusted or baby to adjust it," it's not about that person, whoever will hear it or not will hear it. It's about our inner voice saying, "Oh, is it really safe? Or do I really make a difference? Oh, am I just making it up?" And if that person never gets to the point where she realized, "Oh, you're talking about yourself. You don't really worry so much about that family who has 4 kids. One has asthma, one has speech delay, and the one who cannot play soccer anymore because his knee hurts."
Well, what you're saying there is so true. And I think a lot of it's coming out even today in this COVID era is they're now starting to give problems to the medical doctors. Whereas I
Mm-hmm.
think that early on with chiropractic, the reason that it was so misunderstood is because the other people and the other professions try to make it so hard to understand. And then
Mm-hmm.
chiropractors are like, well, we have to educate. We have to do this. We have to have a proper day 1, day 2. And before you know it, the chiropractor's trying to explain themselves into exhaustion. Whereas, it became something that had to be defended.
Yeah.
It had to be explained over and over and over. And like you said, some days you do it really well. Some days you just want to adjust people.
Yep.
So I think that when it comes to chiropractic in the next 20 years or the next year, people are going to look more for a holistic method to take care of them and their families, not only babies, but the people that are like older and that have asthma, that have had some type of chronic condition long term, autoimmune conditions, things like that. They're going to say, I think that the chiropractor can help me with my immune system.
Yep.
And they're going to say, I don't want that VAXXINE. And they're going to say, I don't want to be, in that method anymore. I want to trust those people because they've been around a long time and they've been telling the people the truth about natural health for a long time. So I think eventually this re-education thing is going to change into like a favor for chiropractic because they've been working so hard and your profession's been working so hard to educate people that
Mm-hmm.
now it's going to become the strength of the profession rather than the exhaustion of the profession.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I totally agree with you. And also, what people recognize already, and which is our saving grace, is most chiropractors, we are pretty warm and fuzzy people. So we actually care about the patient. We can relate. We are concerned about them. And, as I said before, people are smart. They recognize, oh, somebody actually really cares about me. Oh, they actually know the name of my kids and the name of my dog because we've been seeing them for such a long time. And as cheesy as it sounds, they become part of your family. You look forward to see them, right?
And we can't say that about the other side of the doctorhood, because I think that when we talk about what chiropractors do, they are interested to know about people's lives. And that's what makes the chiropractor so unique. Plus, the chiropractor is a touching profession. So not only are you paying attention and you're looking at people, but you're also asking very Socratic method questions as, what are you doing for this? Have you ever tried this before? Could I consider you do this? You're very gentle with your conversations with people and give people your time. And that's what makes the profession so beautiful to me. And then you get a chance to actually palpate and check and do the x-ray and then do the adjustment. And then that's the miracle. So I think what you're saying is so true.
Yep. And we are not, I'm not, I only can talk to myself, for myself, not to myself, which I do a lot. But we are not imprisoned. Nobody will tell me, you know what, you only have 8 minutes because you have to bill out code. I don't even know the codes anymore. Because you're going to get reimbursed for myofascial release, for spinal manipulation, and on top of neurobiology, re-education, or whatever it was. So I'm staying away from it. So that gives me the freedom. I just feel, I feel sad for the people who have to play this kind of games. They're still good doctors, good MDs, but they're part of that hamster wheel, and it must be really difficult and exhausting for them to get out of it because they have that quota, like you have that 7 minute or whatever it is, or 8 minutes, in order to actually make it to a business. And I'm very fortunate that I don't have to play that game anymore.
So how do you market your services to your community? How do you get business in the door?
By doing what I'm doing. When you connect with people, you find out that, kid plays soccer and his left foot is not as strong as his right. So bring him, let's get him checked. So there's a lot of internal referrals going on. There is the internet, and we love and we hate it, whether it's Yelp, whether it's Facebook, the social media, it's huge right now. And for you guys and for me, it's a totally new platform, and we are using it for our advantages, right? We're putting the message out there. I'm doing my part. I'm market heavy on social media, and I'm proud of it because normally you can talk to 1 or 2 people in a spinal screening, which, it's great. And I know, Jim, you love doing spinal screening. I don't. So when you're on social media now, instead of talking to 2 people, there are now 9 on your, live stream. And there are 58 people watching your little video, right? And you can create more momentum doing it.
So do you have a favorite app or program to keep you connected to your patients?
No, not really. I do, no. I wanted to make something up by now, but no.
So do you do any type of reminders through emails or texting or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. It's, a normal software program. I use the Jane software, which is great, very simple. How I like it. So they get reminder phone calls or reminder text. There's mails going out, emails, but that's pretty, I think that's standard. So I don't even want to bring it up because I thought, well, I don't know.
Well, have you seen since the advent of text communication from the office to the patient, people keep their schedules better and your show rates better with people, showing up to their appointments?
Sure. I have no idea, but because we have been implementing it, and I hear from my patient. Oh yeah, I got a reminder call. Thank you. I already drove by your office, so I had to make a U-turn. So can I do a better job in looking at my statistic and figuring it out? Yes, I will get to it. Not today.
So when you have spare time when you're not in the office, are you in the middle of any good books, or do you listen to any other podcasts?
No, I do laundry, do dishes, and have a good time with my two boys. And one of them is 13, and the other one is 9. So they keep me busy. They need to be fed every 5 minutes. They're like tigers, right? They get hungry a lot. So they keep me busy. I like to be around friends and just, hang out and talk and connect. And once in a while, I actually pick up a book, and then I read 2 pages, and then boom, I fall into that. Yeah, that's something I want to do more when I create more time for myself, and I'm looking forward to it. So send me a book list, look, okay?
Do you have a list of books you want to read?
No, I'm still waiting for your book list.
Okay. I'll work on it.
So I'm going to take it a different direction. What do you do to stay fit? What do you do to stay active? I know that you do the Women of Iron program.
Yes.
What do you like to do? Do you like to do yoga? Do you like to do weight training, cycling? Like what do you do? What sets you on fire as like a physical activity?
Well, I have a dog. He's now almost 8 years old, and he takes me on walks. And I follow him. So I do that every single day. I go on hikes. Chiropractic is pretty, it's kind of manual, right? It's manual labor. You have to squat a lot. You have to push and thrust. So that's my exercise program. As we started, I got myself a wetsuit, so I'm planning on going into the ocean more often. That's going to happen in the near future. But I'm waiting for the app. I'm going to put on my Apple Watch when a shark gets like 150 feet close to me, then it should alert me.
So do you have a website if anyone wants to learn more about you?
Yeah, it's called losgatos.chiro.com. And you can find me on Facebook. I think I have an Instagram page. Yeah. And my business is called Advanced Chiropractic here in Los Gatos, California.
So is there anything that we didn't ask you that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Like what, Jim? Give me an idea.
I don't know. A lot of times people get to the end of these interviews with us and they're like, damn it, they didn't ask me that. I wish they would have asked me something about that.
Not really. It's just fun connecting with you guys. It has been a long time, right? Are you guys doing the Men of Iron Colorado pretty soon with all the closure, or is it still hanging in the air?
As soon as the borders open for international travel from Canada to the States.
Oh, yeah, I forgot, yeah.
We will bring Dr. Ryan Doyle down, and we will launch our Men of Iron Colorado program.
Good.
And, I'm excited for it. I know there's a lot of interest to actually, follow through with our program. So I think that we'll all be a little bit more excited for something like that to happen. And there'll be a lot more drive for people to have more community and to go and do an event. So I'm over the moon excited to get the men down here to do the live event, because there's a lot of fun stuff that we're going to implement for them. So I'm ready.
So if I have people, especially men, who want to find out more about you guys, what's a good website they can search you on, besides watching you guys at Chiro?
That is a great question. What was it? menofiron.co?
I think so. menofiron.com/Colorado or something like that. We'd have to get the link.
We haven't given it out in a while.
Yeah.
That's a good
You
question.
guys, okay.
We're off our game. Thanks for showing our blind spot.
Pointing it out. You're welcome. Okay. No, I don't think there's anything I need to add here.
Awesome.
Except it was fun, and you guys doing a great job. Thank you for supporting the profession. It's great having people like you around who are motivated and look like they're enjoying themselves and the jobs they're doing. I haven't seen you guys with a frown ever. You guys are always smiling and looking cute.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And we both just want to thank you so much for being our guest today and for sharing your words and your knowledge and your heart with our audience today. And we look forward to seeing you soon. And we hope you have a great rest of your afternoon, and put that wetsuit on and go out there and hopefully don't find some sharks.
Okay, I will. Okay, watch the news, okay?
We will.
We'll see you
Bye,
next
Jim.
time.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.